Hey, welcome to the Design Cube. I'm about to start a little presentation here on interactive design. It should be interesting, so if you want to watch, no problem. Otherwise, just shut off your media functionality so you don't have to hear my beautiful voice. Well, you've stuck around, so I guess you want to watch. Good choice. We're going to talk about interactive design today and see how interaction works in a virtual world. In World, I go by generic Stickfigure, but my name is really Ari Zilnik. I'm a third-year student of Media Information and Technoculture at the University of Western Ontario. My academic interests include design and human-computer interaction, which is why I'm here talking about all this great stuff today. So let's talk design. What is design? Design is the purpose, planning, or intention that exists behind an action, fact, or material object. This presentation will mainly look at material objects and then virtual environments by extension. So let's start with one of the simplest designs of all, the chopstick. It's been around since the Shang dynasty of China in 1760 BCE, yet the design of these eating utensils is tried and true, remaining a staple in Asian culture until today. Yet design is an additive process. Designers are never happy with how things in the world function and are always trying to make them better. Here, a designer has created rookie chopsticks, used by people who are not comfortable with using chopsticks, but still want to experience eating food in a new way. Centuries after the chopstick's initial form, the fork was brought about, and it was a staple in Western culture ever since, including today. Like the chopsticks, though, designers weren't happy, so they created this, the spork. Its popularity was short-lived because the spork is over-designed. It's a hybrid of a spoon and a fork, and yet it can't stab well, nor can it hold much liquid. So good design is based on how well an object can perform a task. Though simple, the chopstick and the fork have stood the test of time because of how well they function. Design isn't only for material objects, though. Interactive design is a type of design for interaction with objects. Usually, interactive design is thought of in parallel with software. But basically, interactive design looks at how we use the things around us. So an example of good interactive design is Apple's iTunes. iTunes was the first music jukebox application to reach a critical mass because of its intuitive interface and relative speed compared to its competitors. This website, however, is an example of bad interactive design. It looks like a screenshot from the 90s, but it's actually taken in November of 2009. The interface is cluttered, and though there's information everywhere, it's a sensory overload, and quite frankly, it makes me want to vomit. No offense to the designer, of course. What I'm focusing on now, however, is interactive design in virtual worlds. I'll be looking at Second Life and using it as an example for all virtual worlds. So let's start by looking at the user interface, which is what is available on screen for the user to interact with. Second Life uses a contained window system, meaning that the user options are provided through menus which are overlaid on the main application screen. Though this can be very effective, it does cause some issues for the user. In this screenshot, we see the Second Life application open with most of the basic windows visible. The avatar is overpowered by the windows surrounding it. In this case, the interactive design is not so intuitive and is not constrained enough for the user to understand what's going on in the system. Adobe's Photoshop program also has the same potential problem. Photoshop overcomes this issue, however, by using context-aware menus. This is the top menu of Adobe's selection tool. As we can see, it has options pertinent to the selection tool like feathering. When the user switches to the text edit function, the top menu interface changes with it, in this case to fonts and text sizes. And the same thing happens when the paintbrush tool is selected. The brush size and mode are easily selectable, yet the font is not because there's no need for it to be in this mode. Second Life could adapt a similar interface that changes based on what the user is doing in the system. That's not to say that the user interface in Second Life is bad, simply it could be better. The only big problem with a single window user interface in Second Life is that there's a separate system menu in addition to the operating system menu, as you can see here. The problem with this is that, for instance, though both have an edit function, Second Life Edit and the operating system edit have very different options, which is very confusing for a user who wants to navigate the system as efficiently as possible. There are two modes of cognition, experiential and reflective. Being able to navigate in a system easily and uses the mode of cognition called experiential cognition. In this mode, we use our past experiences to determine how to navigate in the system. On the other side of the spectrum is reflective learning, which requires more effort but gives the user a deeper experience of learning the system. In our previous example with the double menus, the experience was reflective when it really should have been experiential. Now let's look at how we physically interact with a virtual world. To a large extent, we are still using the mouse for most of our computer interaction. The mouse is a great tool for manipulating elements on screen. Though the mouse has been around for over 20 years and works very well, it can't really keep up with the human need for multiple points of interaction, and it doesn't really account for 3 dimensions very well. This is definitely a problem in virtual worlds. We are boiling down all of our different body movements and non-verbal cues into one single point of interaction. So what's a possible solution? Perhaps multi-touch. Multi-touch allows for pressure-sensitive multi-digit input of information. If it was mapped correctly, multi-touch would give the user access to control a large amount of the avatar's body movement independently, but they could control that body movement at the same time with any other body movement, and this could also account for the 3rd dimension issue seen in the mouse. Even with its limitations, virtual worlds still extend us as humans. They allow us to walk through walls, materialize in other places, fly and dance even though we don't know how to. You may experience some of these in my cube, and I've tried to kind of incorporate those throughout. So here you are. Feel free to walk around and feel free to explore. Down on this level you'll see some design principles lining the wall, just kind of for your interest. If you go upstairs, you'll see my personal favorite designs lining the walls, as well as some chairs to chat with some friends about design. If you see me up there, please say hello. How do you get upstairs? Well, there are 2 teleporters to your left. Right-click on them and just teleport on up. So enjoy your stay at the Design Cube. To stay in touch with me regarding this project, as well as my other design projects, find me in Worlds, or feel free to email me at this address. Thank you for your attention, have an awesome time exploring the cube, and have a great day.